Bowen and Stoica's Arm Wars match finally gets released. Engin makes a compilation of his top 10 favorite rounds from East vs. West. And Laletin arrives in Dubai and does a collab with Laletin Wheels. All that and more in today's newsletter recap. Real quick, if you haven't yet, head over to armwrestlingforums.com to sign up for the free weekly newsletter. You can put your email in right here, hit join, and you're good to go. I'm a moderator over at the subreddit and a few other places, so throughout the week I compile the most interesting links I come across and ship them out every Monday. This is also the new armwrestlingforums.com. I'm building it myself from scratch, so it has a few fun things going on. There's a seminars tab where you can choose an athlete, and it will populate with some of the seminars that they've done. You can see the In the Hook North American rankings, sort by category and weight class. And of course there's an events tab where you can see the upcoming events. Here we have King of the Table 5, the date, the matches, and a link to buy the pay-per-view. So a lot more fun things coming, but that's where we're at right now. So let's get into last week's newsletter, or this week's newsletter I should say. Right off the bat, we have our featured match is Armwrestling versus Andreev. And this is a classic hook versus top row match. You have Sasha on the left here, a prolific hooker, and Kardasha, one of the best top rollers in the game. So expect to see Sasha shoot in, supinate, gets in there, doesn't quite have full wrist flexion. You can see Armwrestling trying to get that low hand top roll up into that pinky, crack Andreev's wrist, but not having all that much success. Does get him off center, and Sasha's just anatomy infrastructure is so strong that he can even hit from the losing side of the table with his hand way outside his shoulder. Doesn't quite have his wrist. Sasha just hitting, and each time he hits, Kardasha just gets more and more open until finally he makes his way to the pin pad. So just a classic match right there. If you're a hooker and you want to learn how to do it, follow Sasha Andreev. He's one of the best in the business, and again, pretty small hand, pretty small frame, but manages to get some serious top rollers inside. So really fun match. I figured I'd throw that in for our featured match. This is from 2017. All right, next up in our general happenings, we have Bowen versus Stoica. Their Arm Wars match has been released, and this is one of the most controversial Arm Wars matches because Bowen's been a little bit cold on a cold streak recently, and even Neil Pickup himself was like, hey, let's find you someone slightly lower caliber than Stoica, because Stoica's really been making a name for himself. So they wanted to give Bowen someone a little bit easier, and Bowen said, no, I want Stoica. This is what I signed up for. Let's do this. And so they did, and he was a huge underdog. I mean, the overwhelming majority of the community thought Bowen was going to get smoked, and I'm not going to show the whole video here. The link will be in the description to the Arm Wars channel, and we should show them support. However, the first slip I think is pretty telling, and we can see that here. Bogdan shoots in, tries to get that hook, does not like what he feels, and bails out immediately. So, tale of things to come. I mean, even without the story, this is a great match, so make sure you check this out. The production value is just through the roof. They kind of interlating throughout the match. They have the athletes talking about what they're feeling, what their thoughts are, and it's just, I mean, the camera quality is extremely high. So Arm Wars, gotta love it, gotta support them. Again, link in the description. Next up, we have Corey West's thumb versus Brazinks, and I saw this and thought it was interesting. Check it out. Brazink is dwarfing Corey's hand. Corey's a large dude, and this is why everyone says John is such a nightmare to grip up with. It's not that his hand is super long or anything like a RVJ, but it's just so thick you can never get a good bite on it. And so one of the things John says he does is he takes a stress ball and pushes his thumb on it and rolls it around to try to build that muscle right there. And clearly it works. Another person like that is Tim Bresnan. I grip up with him all the time, and his hand isn't very long, but it's so thick that you can't really get a bite around it. And so that's one of the reasons that he's such a good top roller, is that it's very hard to feel comfortable in the setup with him. All right, next up we have Laletin and Kardasha practice left-handed. So on last week's newsletter, you probably saw that the We the North promotion happened, which is a promotion up in Canada, and Alex Kardasha was on the card. Naturally, he's in Canada. He's going to swing by Devin's house. He did. This is on his new channel. Him and Devin do some table time left-handed here in the strap. And don't want to show the whole thing, of course, head over to Alex's channel. There's a little preview here, and Yeah, not great for Devin on left. Devin obviously is really the founder of pumpkin training, which is where you only train one arm, and in Devin's case, that's his right arm. So don't read too much into this, although Devin is still self-admittedly very good on left. But of course, it's Kardasha. So this is a fun video. Check that out. Link in the description. Next up, we have Engin's top 10 East versus West matches, really rounds. So he makes a ranking from all the East versus West cards he has, with all the studs that have been on the cards. He made a top 10, and I love it. So you can kind of see the format here. It's just one round from each match, and it's kind of a walk down memory lane of some of the older matches. Not that East vs. West has been going on very long, but the cards are so big, it's easy to forget some of the matches that happened. You can see here John putting a little bit of pressure. It's not really moving off center. No real advantage here either way. You see Zoloev surge. John holds it off. No real problem. John goes back himself. Gets Zoloev a couple inches above the pad, but here's what makes John so dangerous. You can see him switch to an outside move, cracks the wrist through the pinky of Zoloev and gets him. That's why he's the GOAT. You know, you can go from deep inside and all of a sudden your wrist is cracked. So awesome stuff. Thank you for putting this out, Engin. Check it out, all his favorite rounds. Next on the list, we have, for cutting tips, contact Devin. So I threw this in here just because it's funny how fast Devin shed that, like, 50 pounds of extra weight that he put on for Levon. I mean, it's only been, what, a few months, and it's just gone, and he's back to shredded. Juji, too, he's coming off a bodybuilding show. In case you're wondering, they're obviously together, and they're collabing, pumping out videos left and right. So love to see that. Juji's been kind of out of the arm wrestling scene for a little bit, and it kind of seems like he's got the bug again. He seems very excited about it based on his recent videos. So check his channel out. You're going to see a ton of stuff with Devin. Speaking of, here's the two of them. This is on Devin's channel, actually grappling. See Juji shoots, doesn't go super well, and let's just say it's downhill from there. So check this out on Devin's channel. Not the content we expected, but it's certainly fun. All right, next up we have Larry next to Vitali. So Vitali arrives in Dubai for his match with Dave Chafee at the next King of the Table, and he's collabing with Larry Wheels. And we got this shot. Laletin just makes Larry look so ordinary, which is hard to do. I mean, look at the forearm difference. It's unbelievable. Laletin's what, like 6'7"? I think he's around 300 something pounds right now, and is going to give Chafee all he can handle, because Laletin is not only gigantic, he's also strong, as demonstrated in the next link in the newsletter, which is him doing a dynamometer test, grip strength, and maxing the equipment out. 138. This is 138 kilograms, but it just doesn't go above that. It's not made for people this strong. A couple things to note here. You can kind of juice the numbers a bit if you punch into it. Bader showed us that, so it might be a bit inflated on the numbers, although I'm not sure if that's still true with the digital ones. Regardless, that's obscenely strong. Also, that crushing strength isn't super applicable for arm wrestling. You really want that flat finger clamp strength, because if you ever grip up with someone, tell them to just take their hand away and you'll see the position your hand is in. It's not that crushing strength. Although I'll maintain that hand strength is good for arm wrestling, period. If you can squeeze 138 plus kilograms, you're doing pretty good. It's gonna help you somewhere, some way. And then finally, we have our meme of the week. It's coming. Dennis is going to be a guest at the next East vs. West 5, November 19th, and I can all but guarantee you Engin will force him on the table with as many people as possible. Dennis is starting to come back after he got sick after the Devin match, and we see clips here and there of him on the table, and I'm sure we're going to get a ton of footage out of this event, and I wouldn't be surprised if him and Engin hammer out a match for him for even the next East vs. West match or card. I think it's this coming January. So super exciting. Everyone wants to see it. Dennis is such a good dude, such a legend, has so much history in the sport that it's just going to be amazing to see him back on the table. So obviously, if there's any footage that comes out from that, you can check it out in the newsletter. Once again, armwrestlingforums.com. Put your email in right here, and you'll get all this shipped out to you on Monday ahead of time. Alternatively, you can subscribe here and just check out the video recaps. And that's going to do it. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you in the next one.